All right. You have right. You give right. First of all, okay. I understand. I understand what your the brain training thing we're doing. I just time out. Spaceship or with friends in the unified field. Like, wait, time out. First of all, the most important thing on everybody's mind, actually, like, we can't, not be able to solve a bunch of. We're putting these videos. The troops returning from the war are not getting their disability checks because the government shut down. Okay, and single, like, widows, but young widows. I mean, the young widows, like the Sabrina, whatever, like, with a kid, with the kid, young wife, like husband has died in the war, like needs the death benefits to live and end his grieving. But the troops are living. I was saying something. Your narrator is disabled. Okay, but I couldn't see. On top of this, it's very important to understand something. You're not getting the news on a regular basis. That this has to be every day on your mind. Like, thousands of troops coming, 100,000 were deployed by Obama. Remember that. 1,020 at one point. Okay, look, they're coming. They're here. They're back from their tour. They can't work, and it was your narrator's disabled too. But I tried to live on the disability. I even lived in a place with some troops in it. You can't survive on it anyway, but you can eat and get some kind. You eat it. You eat I don't know. You eat a soup kitchen, and then you get there are cheap, like, transient hotels and stuff or whatever. Or you live, or maybe there's other ways to get money. But I mean, they need their disability checks. Okay. By the way, you're fully aware that a massive amount of taxes are being fed into the government at all times that could be used to pay the troops with disability. It should be on your mind all day. Why is it not? Well, look, right, when we were young, when I talk about neurolinguistic programming, we all loved Gary Gnu. Gary Gnu would say, remember Gary Gnu? Jim Henson said he just wanted to make something that, Jim Henson he knew what he was doing. Like, right, all the time. You remember Gary Gnu? This is the news with Gary Gnu. And the news is, there is no news. The news is, there is no news. This has been Gary Gnu with the news about the news. In other words, there is no information about what's happening. There's a lot of eye candy. There's papers that there is no news about what's taking place that's important. There is no news. There is no news. Okay. One reason why persons like your narrator and many others are interested in certain things that we get called dangerous for that are not dangerous. Both the people at Ruby Creek and the Davidians, remember that group had been around for. Some people have been born and raised there. Okay, they were a Protestant group living in a community. Peaceful people. Okay, wait a minute. And Koresh was there's a Seventh-day Adventist group, but Koresh was teaching them insights he'd had. Okay, listen to me very carefully. The whole reason that that a lot of Christians in our country were aware of this when they held out that sign to the so people would see it and so the media would catch it outside Ruby Creek after this woman was killed by the internal security forces. Right, it said every knee shall bow and every tongue confess. Joshua Messiah. Okay, right. David, right, we believe he was referring. There was Yeshua Messiah. Is that no Joshua? They're referring to Josh Harris. All right. We perceive we take it. It's logical. The Davidians taught that at the time of the end that there wouldn't be a return of what would happen is there'd be many millions of people doing something that would be the kind of thing that someone who's not a nice person of limited intelligence would say, oh, what do you think, you're the Messiah? Who wants to hear from you? But millions of people would be doing such a thing. Right. What a lot of spiritual groups knew and stuff is, first of all, there is no news. There is no news. Turn off your TV. There is no news. There's no news in your newspaper. Part of the key to that is that every day when you wake up, you know that thousands and thousands and thousands of young men who are soldiers to fought for our country aren't getting their disability checks, or if they died, that their like widow who may be like 21 years old with a baby, like may have to is desperate for money but won't get the death benefits because the government shut down. That's not like learning about a bunch of complicated economics things. That's actually, that should be on everyone's mind all the time. You should be, take a day off work and go to where the veterans are assembling. There's a closed war memorial where you are. Why aren't you knowing that all the time? Because there is no news, as Gary Gnu said. That's the news. There is no news, okay? But we have these cameras. Joshua Harris, Messiah. David Koresh taught the same thing. All these spiritual groups in the country that were killed by the internal security forces taught the same thing. The country doesn't live in objective reality. The troops aren't getting their disability checks. But we have these cameras. We have these cameras. So we could tell you there is no news, but we could tell you what's going on in objective reality. Millions of people are doing this. That's why we're talking.